So Roy Moore says this is a spiritual battle. Is this a spiritual battle in your opinion?
Well, I don't generally like it when people use the language of spiritual warfare about their political ups and downs, because I believe that spiritual warfare is real. I actually believe that there is such a thing as spiritual warfare, and so I think we need to use that language where it's appropriate. Where it's appropriate is in terms of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that's really what concerns me here is people who are turning away from what they see as a cynical use of religion all across the country and in all across the political spectrum, when that's not what Christianity is. Christianity is not about who's up and who's down in terms of political polling. Christianity is about the good news that God has reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ.
You know, we have heard people, supporters of Moore in Alabama, saying, talking about biblical precedent about the age of men and women who were involved in each other in the Bible. They've talked about they've compared this to lawnmowers. When you hear some of the words, the comparisons that are being made, as a man of faith, what do you think?
Well, my blood pressure has been elevated in recent days with people suggesting that even when such horrible things take place, that it's the equivalent of Mary and Joseph. No, it's not. Or as I heard one person say on television, I believe it was yesterday, that this would be a misdemeanor, and so it would be the equivalent of stealing a lawnmower. Stealing a lawnmower. That's the most horrifying sort of moral relativism that I can imagine. Especially when we're living in a country where there are so many women and girls who have their lives being crushed by powerful men who are using sexual advances and sexual assault against them. We need to have the moral clarity to come out and say sexual assault is always immoral and always wrong.
Ed Stetzer, the executive director of the Billy Graham Center for Evangelism, told worshipers this week that the proper Christian response when someone says they've been hurt or abused is to say, I believe you, and show mercy. Do you agree with that?
Well, yes, I think that one of the things I've heard in recent days is from a lot of evangelical women who are coming forward and talking about their own experiences. And in many cases, there are women who believe that they won't be received, that they won't be believed if they come forward and say, I've had this happen to me, when it's somebody who has relative power within whatever community that is. The church needs to be very clear in saying that we're not about who has the most power, that we're going to minister to and care for vulnerable women and girls. And many conservative evangelical churches are doing that right now. Some of the best ministries that I see to hurting women who have been through sexual violence are in gospel Christian evangelical churches. And so I think we need to make that very clear. And that means also, from the very beginning, pastors and leaders standing up and talking to people in the congregation, saying, we will be here for you if you have experienced this sort of hurt. That's what Jesus has called us to.
Dr. Russell Moore, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Anderson.
Coming up next, the Senate GOP